Hiya, my name's Norms McNamara and I'm the founder of the Global Purple Angel Dementia Campaign, and I also have dementia myself. I have the Lewy bodies type dementia, and but I wasn't diagnosed with that at the first. I was actually diagnosed with Alzheimer's and then told 2 years later that I'd been misdiagnosed and that I didn't actually have Alzheimer's. I had the Lewy bodies type. Now, over the years, I've campaigned because the amount of people I've seen and met who have had the same symptoms as myself, they have also obviously been misdiagnosed. And I also say to people, if you've any doubt whatsoever, please go back to the doctors because the medications are different and it could make all the difference. I don't want to be dramatic and say it's a matter in life or death, but it could make all the difference. But today, what I want to talk about is the most asked question I ever get is, what's it like to live with dementia? And in my humble opinion, this is it. It's horrible. It's absolutely awful. I'm being very polite here because I'm on screen. I could say a lot more, but it's absolutely terrible. And the reason why it is because of the uncertainty. The uncertainty it brings. Yes, you might know all about dementia. Like when I was first diagnosed, I believed that you wouldn't go to war without knowing the enemy. So I learned all I could. Unknowing to me, I learned all I could about Alzheimer's. And then I had to relearn all I could about Lewy bodies type dementia. I knew a little bit about dementia itself because I lost my father and my grandmother to dementia. But I was only in my teens then, and I didn't really take any notice of it. I never thought for 1 minute I would actually get it myself. But when I say it's awful and it's the uncertainty, what I mean is, especially with Lewy bodies, it's like you've got two types of dementia. It's like you've got dementia and you know you've got dementia, whereas a lot of other types like vascular or Alzheimer's, you don't know you've got it, and sometimes it just leads to flat denial, and that's understandable, because people look at it as such a frightening disease. And when I get questions sometimes, and it's hard because you think, are they thinking, is he saying that really, or is it just his dementia talking? And you can see the look in people's eyes. And that's the worst thing of all, because you know that your sanity is being questioned, even not verbally, but you can sometimes see it thinking, oh, bless. And you get the lolly head type, oh. It's like, it's true. It's true. You tell anybody you've got dementia, and the majority will go, oh, I'm sorry. And for some unknown reason, the muscles in the neck relax. I have no idea why that happens. But on a more serious note, living with dementia is just terrible because with the Lewy bodies type, as I said, I get worse as the day goes on. I suffer very badly from sundowning on some days, not all days, thankfully, but on some days. Some days it can happen after 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Some days it can happen first thing in the morning. You never ever know with this disease. But when it does happen, and then it gets worse at night when you don't recognize where you are, you don't know who you are, you don't know where you are, and all you want to do is go home, which I once discussed in another video. It's awful, and you black is white and right is wrong, and you just can't understand what's going on around you. The awful thing about it is sometimes the day after, you can remember what you did. And you know full well that you could do the same again tonight and much more, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Can you imagine how frightening that is? Because you have no control. That is how awful and how terrible dementia is, because you have no control. You have no control in what you say sometimes, or what you do sometimes, or how you act sometimes. And when you think back, and if you are lucky enough to remember your actions or your sentences or your words, you will think, how could I say that? How could I hurt the one I love? I don't mean any of it. I really, really don't mean any of it. But in that dementia state, it comes out. And I like to say it's not my fault. It's dementia's. But there's just humankind. It's just something inside you that needs to apologise and say, I'm so sorry. You know, because if I hadn't got dementia, I wouldn't act like that. If I hadn't got dementia, I wouldn't say things like that. And I am truly, truly sorry. But this is what dementia brings you to. This is what it drags you down to. You know, but it's not the person's fault. And I know deep down it's not my fault. It is the disease itself. And I think that's what we have to remember. Because going back to what I said, when people say, I want to go home, I want to go home, and people think, well, is that the place of birth? Well, I come from a place called Bolton in Lancashire, and as lovely as it is, I absolutely adore where I live in Devon now, and I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. So it's not that. Home, is it my religious home? Sadly, no, I was brought up as a Roman Catholic, but over the years, experience has taught me to, you know, be quite cynical. So it's not my religious home. So what do I mean when I say in my state I want to go home? And what I mean, and this is coming from a person with dementia, is when I say I want to go home, I just want to be loved. I just want to be held. I just want to be told I'm going to be safe. Because I believe that deep down, no matter what type of dementia you've got, and no matter how far down the line you are, deep down, somewhere deep in your brain, in your mind, you know you're poorly. You know you're ill. And you just want to know that you're going to be kept safe. And I honestly think that's what going home means. But to live with dementia day by day, if I call it an uphill struggle, there's not enough. It's not enough. And as much as you see his happy, smiling chaplain who appears on Facebook and tells you all the things I do to raise awareness, and I wouldn't change a thing. And I will do it until my dying breath to make sure that other people understand what it's like to live with this disease. But to actually live it is truly awful. And I wouldn't like anybody, and I mean anybody, on this planet or any other planet, the way things are at the moment, to go through it. I really, really wouldn't. But the one thing we do have is hope. The one thing we do have is hoping things will get better. I know by the time they find a cure, it probably won't be in enough time for me. Because by the time they go through the trials and the knives and the other things, it'll be far, far too late for me. I've been blessed because I've managed to live so long with this disease. But as they say, if you meet one person with dementia, you meet one person with dementia, because it's all totally different. And I really do believe, as I wrote in a blog, that I believe that every dementia, every person's dementia is as individual as a fingerprint. So I will not apologise for living so long with it. I'm coming up to 16 years now. Well, I will certainly say that it's been one hell of a ride, because I can't apologise for doing well, because if you were told you had cancer and you had 10 years to live and you were still there after 15 years, people wouldn't say, well, you're supposed to have died 10 years ago, would they? You know, but they seem to think that people with dementia, oh, well, you know, you've lasted so long, you know, and they must have got it wrong, or, you know, stuff like that. And my wife will say, you try coming to our house about 9 o'clock at night. Some nights, not all nights. You know, and everyday happenings where I forget to get dressed, or I've never tied a shoelace in years now. I've never been out on my own because I've lost all real sense. So yeah, living with dementia is much more than what you think. But when people say, what is it? What does it mean? It means you start to lose your life skills. In other words, it's not when you forget things. Everybody forgets wallet, spectacles, watch, where they left the car. We've all done that. But living with dementia means when you sit there with a knife and fork in front of you and you have no idea what to do with that knife and fork, or you go out on a winter's morning with just your pajamas on, or you go out for a walk, or you decide to go for a walk and not tell anybody else. Now, this is one top tip. People with dementia never, ever get lost. They just don't tell you where they're going. But they, 9 times out of 10, know exactly where they're going. It's just that they don't tell you. So dementia is all about losing your life skills. It's all remembering how to tie your tie your shoelaces, put your coat on, to tell the time on a watch. That's when you know you've got dementia. The other stuff is forgetfulness. And that's what we all have. Even my grandchildren's got forgetfulness. You ask them what they have for school at dinner. Don't know, forgot. Don't know, forgot. Bless them. So, you see, please don't be scared of it. Please, there's so much going on now. There's memory cafes, there's medications to slow it down. There's lots going on at the moment. So what we want to do at the Purple Angel is to drag dementia kicking and screaming into the 21st century, 21st century, and show it bare for all it is. It's just another disease. It's just another illness. We've come so far, and we've done really well. TV, adverts, films, much more than we would have done 50 years. Who knows what's going to happen in the next 50 years? What can we do better? Yes. But we can all do better. We all come together and we all work together. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it explained dementia a little bit better. I haven't done one of these for quite some years, so hopefully if you like this, I may well do a few more. All right, thanks for listening. Bye-bye, everybody.